Hi guys, welcome to Linux R YouTube channel. My name is Ram Mishra and I am your Linux trainer. So today I have come up with new interesting topic for you, which is how to work with Ansible variables in Playbook. So guys, let's begin the topic. But before start the lab session, we have to understand few points, which is what is Ansible variables and their use cases. So for demonstration purpose, I have a lab scenario for you. Please look at that. Guys, this is my Ansible variable lab setup environment. So the first question come in our mind is, what is Ansible variable? So Ansible variable used to store value that can be reused throughout files in Ansible project. This can simplify the creation and maintenance of a project and reduce the number of errors. It provides a better way to manage dynamic value for a given environment in our Ansible project. So in other terms, we can say that variable has a value which will be used to configure and manage the Ansible project environment. Okay. Now next point, how to define a variable. So variable name must start it with a letter and they can only contain letters, numbers and underscores. For example, like web underscore server or file underscore 1. This is the way by which we define a variable. Okay. Now defining Ansible variables. So guys, we have lots of methods to define a variable value in a playbook. So we can define in a variety of places in Ansible project. So we have the option we can define in a play scope format where the variable set in the play. Second one is the global scope, variable set from the command line, and third one is the host scope where variable set on the host group and individual host by the inventory. So for the lab session, here I have two tested virtual machine. I'll show you this one. First machine acting as a control node. This one is my control node machine with the hostname server1.pool.org having the IP address 10.0.0.1 and current running Linux OS is RHEL 8.0. My second machine acting as a managed host where the hostname is client1.pool.org having the IP address 10.0.0.1 and the running Linux OS is RHEL 8.0. So what I'm going to do on control node here, I will make few playbooks which showing different cases of Ansible variable condition, and then I am going to deploy this playbook on the managed host. Okay. So how to work with the Ansible variable? For this, let's begin the lab session. So I am back on my terminal. This is my control node. Firstly, I will show you the host name and the Red Hat release version. So simply I am run the hostname command. It shows me server1.pool.org and currently I am using Red Hat release version 8.0. So for being time saving purpose, I have already created a playbook named var1.yaml where I have mentioned a list of tasks with variable function. Otherwise video will be very long. So I'll show you. Guys, this is my var1.yaml file. Okay, so let's understand a playbook with Ansible variable feature. Here I have mentioned a play name play scope. This is a play name, my play scope. Okay, I want to deploy this playbook on all managed host. So that's why I mention host is equal to all. Then I mention var section. This is the variable section for defining the variable in this playbook. Here my underscore var, this is a variable name having the value test. This could be anything. So it's a dynamically and can be changed according to the Ansible project. After declare the variable in the playbook, it can be used in the task section. So in the task section, I mention the task name to make user on managed host. So I want to just make some user on the managed host. So for this purpose, I use user module. This is a user module for making a user on managed host. Then I mention name is equal to, and I mention here variable name. So guys, remember one thing. Whenever you have to mention the variable name, it should be called in double curly braces. Okay, and then simply state is equal to present. Now I'll save and quit from here. Now my playbook is ready to run, but before run the playbook, do not forget to check the syntax error first. So for this, I run the command Ansible playbook -- syntax check and my YAML file, that is var1.yaml. Okay, so looks good, it shows me no error. Now run the playbook. So how to run the playbook? Simple Ansible playbook command and my variable file or my YAML file. It shows me my play name, that is play scope, gathering some facts from client.1.org, that means my managed host, and it's installed, or it gives me a change message. So it shows me that all tasks completed successfully without giving any error. So we can verify from the control node whether user created or not using ad hoc command. So here I can simply run ansible -a, and I mention ID. In my case it's the test user, which I have mentioned in the playbook, and it says check. Great, it shows my test user entry. So guys, this is our first example of Ansible variable with the play scope. Okay, but there is one more thing which I want to share with you. If I again open my playbook and modifying the user module layout in normal form, what I mean to say, I open file one more time, this one, I'm talking about this one. So what happened if I modifying the normal form? Currently it is short-handed form. If I change to normal form, then look at that, what happened when I run the playbook. So firstly I am going to set normal form. So how can I do that? I'll go here and just modify few entries, name and great, and one more entry, state. That's great. And also change the variable value, this time it's Linux. Now save and quit, and let's see what happened when I check again. Syntax error. Oops, it gave me error. It shows me a message to use Qto symbol. Look at that, always use Qto. So I'll open it one more time and modify the entry as the message shows me. So guys, remember, whenever variable use at the first element, this is the first element, so whenever variable use at the first element, it will be always started with Qtos. Okay, so this is the little thing we have remember always whenever we have to mention the variable as in the first entry. Save and quit from there, again check. Okay, looks good. Now play the run book. Play name showing, gathering some facts, and that's great. Now check one more time, I'll check it. So this time my user is Linux. Great. So hopefully guys, the point is clear to you. Now move to the next example. In this example we will start variable with a global scope format. Remember, earlier I have mentioned that we have a different method where play scope and global scope. So in case of global scope, we can pass the variable to Ansible playbook using command line method. So what I'm going to do, I simply mention the command Ansible playbook and my YAML file. Then I mention -e and mention my underscore var and assign another value. That's it. So here I'm assign a new variable value test2 to my variable section on the terminal, and when I press enter, it will be override the variable value from the playbook. Look at that. So here we are overriding the variable's value from the command line. So this is the another method. So now time to check whether user is created or not. Test2. Great, it's changed. Okay guys, now move to the next example. We have another method. We can define a playbook variable in the external file also. In this case, instead of using vars block in the playbook, we use vars underscore file and call the external file here. For the same environment, I have already created a playbook named var2.yml. I'll show you. So this is var2.yml. Look at that. So let's understand the playbook one more time. Here I have mentioned a play name variable file format, and I want to execute this playbook on all hosts. So I mention host is equal to all. Then I mention vars underscore file, this one. So vars underscore file, and mention the path of another YAML file, test value.yml, having the all variables value. And in the task name I mention here, look at that, I mentioned the variable name to print out the variable value during the running process. And I want to install some packages through variable. So for this purpose I used yum module. Here I use yum module. So here my underscore pack, this is my variable name whose values is stored in /test value.yaml file. Got it? This name could be anything and the location could be anywhere. In my case I use current working directory, so that's why I started with dot. It represents my current working directory. Okay, so I'll save and quit from there and I'll show you the directories and file location. So I'll save and quit from there, and this is my test directory and this is my value.yaml file. So I open it one more time for you. Look at that. So my underscore pack, this is my variable name, and I want to install these three packages: telnet, vsftpd and bind package. Okay, so I just save and quit from there, and one more time check the syntax error first before running the playbook. So I said this time var2.yaml. Oops, okay, good. So there's no error. Now time to run the playbook. So how to run? Ansible playbook and your YAML file. In my case var2.yaml. Variable format showing my plain name, gathering facts, and it shows me clearly that it's installed telnet, vsftpd and bind server packages. Okay, so it's completed without giving any error. Again we can verify from the control node whether package installed or not using ad hoc command. So this time I'm using Ansible A and rpm query vsftpd bind and telnet. Great, it's showing me the right output. Cause now we move to the next example. So we have another method to define a variable with the host scope. This one, how to define the variable with the host scope. So we can define the host scope or group based variable directly into the inventory file and take the advantages from there. Host variable applied to specify host, while group variable applied to all hosts in a host group. So for this I open my inventory file and modifying the file to work with the variable host scope. So what I'm going to do, I open my inventory file. This is my single one manage host machine entry, that is client1.pool.org, and here I just put up my underscore file and say testing. Good. So if I show you again using cat format, so here my underscore file is a variable name and having the value testing. So for the same environment I have already created a playbook named var3.yaml. I'll show you. This is time var3.yaml. So here I mention a plain name, that is host scope, and I want to deploy this playbook on client1 manage host only. So for this, on host section I mentioned client1.pool.org. You can put up all here, but it's not work because during the deployment process giving variable will be applicable only client1.pool.org host machine, because we have updated inventory file for the same. Okay, so that's why I here only mention client1.pool.org. Then I mention with task name where I want to make some file on manage host. So now what happened when I run this playbook, my underscore file, this one, pick up the value from my inventory file from client1.pool.org manage host and complete the process. So I am going to save and quit from there and check the syntax error first. So this time var3.yaml. okay, looks good. Now run the playbook. So Ansible playbook and my YAML file, this time var3.yaml, showing my plain name, host scope, gathering facts, and done. So it's completed without giving any error. Again we can verify from the control node where file created or not using ad hoc command. So I can using Ansible -a and do ls listing tam testing and say all. Testing all. Great. Good, looks good. But guys, this is an older approach, are not to used much more. So some disadvantages of this approach is to make inventory file more difficult to work with, and it's mix information about host and variable in the same file. So another approach or preferable method is to define the variable for host and group is to create two separate directories, name host underscore var and groups underscore var in the same working directory where the inventory file is mentioned, and these directories contain the file defining group or host variable respectively. So how can we do that? I'll show you. So first of all, I make host underscore vars directory in the same working directory. So I'll run the command mkdir and say host vars. Okay, now I go to this location and make a file for cl client1.pool.org. okay, again define some variable name. This time I said my dir and give the value example. So here my underscore dir is my variable name having the value example. Okay, now for the same I have again another playbook, that is I quit from there first var 4.yml. So here I have mentioned a plain name host scoop, and I wanna deploy this playbook on client1 manage host only. So for this, on host section I mention client1.pool.org, then I mention a task with the task name. For this I used module again, file module, and mention my underscore dir value this time. Okay, so now what happened when I run this playbook, my underscore dir variable value pick up the value from the host underscore vars directory location which I have already created, and file module, this one, and the file module deploy the process in /temp location with FTP user ownership with full permission 777. Okay, so I save and quit from there, and before execute the playbook, let's check the syntax error one more time. This time var 4. Okay, looks good. Time to run. So var 4.yml. Okay, it's completed without giving any error. Again, we can verify from the control node where directory created or not using ad hoc command. So I say Ansible a. This time I'm using state and give the location temp example. Okay, good. Now it shows me that directory has been successfully created with the FTP owner. Here is the user ID FTP, and with the permission is 777. Okay, so guys, we have covered all variables cases like play scoop, global scoop, and host scoop. So hopefully the thing is clear for you. Finally guys, this is the end of this topic also, and hopefully you enjoyed and learned new things. Soon I will come up with another new interesting topic. Till then, keep practicing. If you feel something I have missed or you wanted to know more something else, please leave your comment and subscribe my YouTube channel for more updates. If you like this video, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and press the bell icon button for the latest update. Guys, one more thing, if you are interested in Realit online classes for RSCSA and RSC section, please contact us through given links which is mentioned in the description. Thanks for watching, stay safe and goodbye.